Hold on. Is this thing? Okay. Matt. Okay.
Matt, now that spring practice is over, can you give us kind of an overview of what you were able to get out of it, and what do the next few weeks look like for you?
To be honest with you, it was great to watch our guys kind of execute out there. I thought we threw and caught the ball pretty well. I thought we had the ability to function in special teams really well, and the ability to have to be disciplined kind of in the moment today. And I thought that was probably a great opportunity for us to at least see where our growth and maturity is. We'll watch the film and know a lot more about it. But again, I give our staff, I give our kids a lot of credit. I mean, there's the last 16, 17 weeks, there's a lot of change. And to have the ability to, I think, really come together, feel like we had the ability to get a base offense and a base defense, really understand what we are and evaluate our football team. I think all those things are what we feel very confident about ourselves. And the reality, we all know this. I mean, the next 16 weeks of a summer, a fall camp, they're going to be critical for this team to grow themselves forward. But I thought a really positive 15 spring practices.
You looked a little wet out there. I don't know why I'm saying. I'm just watching you right now. Other than some obvious guys on offense like Rocco and Carson, guys that you know, watching the offense this spring specifically, who are a couple of guys on offense that do you feel like took a pretty big step forward and loomed kind of large for you maybe in August and then in the fall?
Yeah. I think at the skill positions, I think you saw James Peoples have a couple really good runs. I think he's really flashed, and I feel like his spring just got better and better and better as he went. I think Q is one of those guys to me. I said it, that run he had in kind of the red zone goal line-ish area, he is playing with a lot of confidence right now. And to watch him get better, I'm so excited for where he has the opportunity and ability to go. The tight end room has shown up at times in camp, and you're going to get Rapp and some of those guys back, and obviously Ben made a couple good plays today. I think Finn's a guy that continues to show up for this football team. And then that receiver room, and you kind of saw it today, there's talent. It's the consistency to keep growing. Kobe had a couple great catches, and, just got to continue to grow forward. But I think as a global piece of it, the running back room really, I thought, had a great spring. That tight end room had a great spring. And, and then Connor Berry. Connor, I thought, did a good job again today. And for him to have to take all those reps, have to keep pounding forward, I thought it was really beneficial for all of us.
Where do you guys kind of operationally go after this in terms of the next few weeks, evaluating spring ball, meeting with players? Like, what does the next 2-3 weeks look like?
Yeah, well, the starting point, and we kind of started it a little bit last week, is, from nutrition, strength and conditioning, athletic training, and our strength staff, and then every position coach. Boy, we've got 17 weeks of, great evaluation of every young man in our program. Where's his strengths? Where's his weaknesses? Now they got 2 weeks left to finish in the classroom with finals. But where's their gaps? Knowing that the storm of a college football season's coming, and how are we all aligned, everybody in our program, to what the communication style is going to be to every one of our players. We'll meet with every player Tuesday. We've already met almost on every player. And then on Wednesday through the finals, I'll meet with every player. And I think the key is everybody being aligned to where is the growth, what do you have to do, and then our coaches will go out recruiting, and then when we come back at the end of May and all of June, we'll put a lot of time and effort into schematically where's our growth have to go, what do we have to be prepared with as we come back July and August and really try to pound away for as we kind of get ready for the early part of the season.
Matt, you mentioned that growth and the areas you need to grow in. Where do you think this program needs to grow most between now and fall camp?
Well, I still think the biggest growth we can make is our discipline and detail, to be honest with you, in everything we do. Can we continue to have great discipline and detail in our academics and how we finish in the classroom? Can we have great discipline and detail and some humility, myself and all of us, in terms of evaluating what we just did? And then I think the end piece of it is probably most important. Like, the storm's coming. We're going to have adversity. are we as close-knit, tight-knit of a football team that when the tough days come, we can fight through down 14. We can fight through adversity, a bad quarter, a bad half, because all that stuff's coming, right? And the key to our success, are we together enough to be able to fight through hard? And I think those are great growth opportunities for us that we'll just have to continue to pound through as we work through the rest of the summer and certainly fall camp.
Matt, when you look at your linebacker group, what did the personnel accomplish this spring? What happens when Tony Rojas reinserts into that discussion? And then ultimately, do you have any kind of timeline for Alex Tash and getting him back available?
Yeah, we just talked about Alex, honestly, yesterday. I think Alex is certainly a little bit ahead of schedule in terms of where we thought he would be, but you got to remember, even by the time we get to fall camp, I think he'll still be limited just because of when that injury occurred. Our hope is, I think if he continues to progress, he'll be ready for the early start of the season, whether that's game 1 or game 2, but I think he's certainly on track where he needs to be. When you talk about him, Tony has done an unbelievable job. I don't know if I could be prouder of what his work has looked like and what he's done behind the scenes in terms of both his rehab and his leadership in our football program. And so I think the great gift is the rest of those guys got great reps. It's totally different defense for some of the Iowa State players, obviously, when you talk about Brazina and you talk about Cooper Ebel and you talk about Caleb Bacon. You're coming from a 3-down front to a 4-down front. But I think what's been fun to watch that group really grow. I think Cooper Ebel, we felt like was one of the best linebackers in the country coming back, and I think he has really grown himself forward. Bake is a guy that's played a lot of football. I think those guys adapted and trying to tailor-make what can those guys do, and then obviously to get a guy like Tony back and to get those guys back in Tash. I think it'll be a huge room that we have a lot of confidence in, and I'm really excited about that group and how can we play to their strengths as the season kind of comes their way.
You talked about how important this game would be before spring practice started for your players seeing Beaver Stadium and Beaver Stadium seeing your players. They're about to meet some of the fans who were here today. What have you learned about this Penn State fan base over the last 5 months since taking the job? And what have you heard about their expectations for this program and their hopes for the future?
Well, let me start here. I mean, to be able to, in a downpour today, and to see this crowd and the amount of people that came out to support our football program, I just think every opportunity to show our young men in our program how special it is to play here at Penn State and what it means. I don't know if it's anything that I learned, because I think it's one of the things that I've been absolutely grateful for from the day that I've touched down here, is understanding it's bigger than me, it's bigger than our players, what we get to represent and what we are training to be able to represent every fall Saturday is really powerful. And to be able to, kids clinic last night, which was unbelievable. We had almost 500 kids in our indoor, to be able to watch and see and feel the energy walking into this stadium today. There's not many places that you get to be able to be a part of something like this.
Got time for one more. Greg, over here on the right.
Coach, as you look at your just quarterback room overall, you talked about Connor, but you had some of the young guys out there today as well. It looked like Peyton was in a blue uniform, not a purple one. So I'm just curious about where you think his future is. And then overall, with Rocco getting back into things, just where do you feel like, with Alex coming back to campus, that room is entering the summer?
Well, obviously, when you get, Rocco, I thought huge that he was able to get the reps he had. I probably would have been really nervous had Rocco not been able to get the reps that he got through the spring. Really, I thought by, the last 3 weeks, I think he's really been, quality reps and be able to work with our receivers, and even, to have Chase and to be able to have Brett back in some limited form and fashion throughout the spring. I think it was really big for that group. Obviously, Alex, and the good news of him being back on campus and certainly kind of trending in a really great direction for the start of fall camp is huge. I still don't think you can't the amount to be able to play the game of football. So for Connor to get these reps in 15 days of practice and getting so many quality reps, to get Case Evans in the game and see small town Texas to where he is today is a huge change. But to work through that and to have to get these experiences and what kind of growth can he make from now until we get to the start of fall camp. I think Peyton's a guy that has shown up. We really kind of took the purple jersey out of him because he's had some impressive moments in the spring where he can run with the football and do some different things. How can that guy maybe help us down the road as we continue to grow ourselves forward? So, even Jack's done some great things. So I think in terms of where that room is, it's going to have to continue to grow forward. There's, especially when you're talking about Alex missing spring. But I think holistically, we'll benefit greatly that some of those guys didn't get those reps and some of these young guys had to get reps and really have to grow forward from where we are today.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, you guys. Thanks so much.